and the Fire Tower Widow, an Adirondack Reckoning. The Drop. October 12th, 2025. Eagle's Perch Fire Tower, 3,200 feet above sea level. The helicopter blades thumped like a migraine as Eleanor Pike, Ellie to anyone who'd ever loved her, gripped the nylon strap while the pilot banked hard over the crimson canopy of the Adirondack High Peaks, the forest below a spilled painter's box of rust, gold, and blood-red maple. Beautiful if you weren't being airlifted to your own exile. "Almost there, Mrs. Pike," the pilot shouted over the rotors, young with a buzz cut and mirrored shades, likely thinking this was a routine medevac, unaware her son had paid him cash to strand her. The tower appeared suddenly. An 80-foot skeletal iron spider on a granite knob, glass-walled cab unused since 1992. And the skid touched the helipad bolted to the rock, Ellie's knees buckling when her boots hit gravel. Her son, park ranger. First-class Benjamin Pike, Benny to her, never Ben. Hopped out first, 38, lean from trail runs, uniform crisp despite the wind, carrying a single duffel. Her sleeping bag, a thermos of coffee, 3 cans of beans, a flare gun, and a radio that only received no transmitter, no way out. "Happy birthday, Mom." His voice cracked like thin ice. "You always said you missed the tower. Fresh air, solitude. This is peace." Ellie stared at the swaying cab above. 33 years ago, she'd climbed those stairs every dawn for 12 seasons, eyes scanning for smoke, voice crackling over VHF to save campers and loggers. Until her husband Jack died in a controlled burn gone rogue, the state pensioned her off. And Benny grew ashamed of her eccentric past, preferring her invisible in the Ranger Barracks laundry room. She took the duffel. "Peace don't come with a one-way ticket, son." He wouldn't meet her eyes. "The preserve needs your land, eminent domain for the new visitor center. You signed the papers." She had signed in the hospital, morphine haze after a stroke, his pen guiding her trembling hand. Donation for conservation. Thinking it meant a plaque with Jack's name, not this. The pilot revved. Benny hugged her stiffly, more performance than affection. Then climbed back in, the chopper lifting and scattering maple leaves like confetti at a funeral. Ellie watching until the dot vanished beyond Blue Mountain, then looking up at 80 feet of stairs, one way down the hard way. Inventory. Day 1, 4:17 p.m. Ellie climbed, each step groaning but the bolts holding, and at the cab the door hung open on one hinge, inside dust, mouse turds, a cracked Osborne firefinder, and a logbook swollen with rain. The radio. Forest Service surplus, 1985, on the map table. Red receive light glowing, transmit switch soldered shut. Cute. She unpacked. Sleeping bag on the floorboards, thermos, beans, flare gun with 2 rounds, and, thank Christ, her old ham radio license in the duffel side pocket. Benny must have missed it. Sunset bled across the horizon. Ellie stepped onto the catwalk, wind knifing through her flannel 40 miles of wilderness. No roads, no cell towers, no mercy, nearest trailhead 12 miles south. 2,000-foot vertical drop. She was 70. Post-stroke, bum hip, hiking out not an option, but she'd spotted smoke before satellites. She could signal. The Wire, Day 2, dawn. The tower had power, solar panels on the roof, jury-rigged by some long-ago ranger. The radio hummed, Ellie unscrewed the back panel, transmit circuits intact, just disabled. She needed a microphone. In the logbook drawer, a rusted paperclip, AA battery, and miracle, a broken headset. She stripped the mic with her teeth, soldered wires with the flare gun's magnesium spark. MacGyver would have wept. Tuned to 146.52 megahertz, the 2-meter ham calling frequency, keyed the mic. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is K2EP, Eagle's Perch, emergency traffic, any station, come back. Static then. K2EP, this is N2SMK, Smoke Jumper's net, go ahead, Ellie. Her heart lurched. Mickey Kowalski, retired jumper, pipe smoker, once carried her down this tower when she'd twisted an ankle in '89. Mickey, I've been marooned. My son. Ranger Pike. Dropped me here, forged papers, took my land, need extraction, and a lawyer who bites. A pause, then laughter like gravel. Copy that, Fire Tower widow. Sit tight, the cavalry's rusty, but we ride. I serve the old guard. Day 3, noon. They came by pickup, Harley, and one ancient de Havilland beaver floatplane that landed on 4th Lake like a drunk goose, 8 in all. Mickey Kowalski, 74, pipe clenched, eyes sharp. Tala Whitefeather, 52, Mohawk ironworker, forearms like bridge cables. Reverend June Carter, no relation. 68, retired smoke jumper chaplain, Bible and chainsaw. The twins, Red and Blue McAllister, 70, identical except one dyed his beard. Doc Patel, 61, ER doc turned bush pilot. Lila Sparks O'Connor, 35, electrical engineer. Mickey's granddaughter. Rusty, a 3-legged bloodhound riding shotgun. They climbed the tower single file. Mickey hugged Ellie so hard her ribs creaked. Still got the best eyes in the Adirondacks. Let's burn some bastards. The Land Day 4, the cab. Tala spread topo maps across the floor. Ellie's 100 acres, Pike's Notch, in a bowl of old-growth white pine. Trees 200 years old, 120 feet tall, worth millions to loggers. The state condemned it for a visitor center that looked like a gated lodge for politicians. But Jack Pike had been clever. In 1956, filed a conservation easement with the Adirondack Land Trust. The land could never be developed. Only used for education or preservation. Benny's donation was fraud. Ellie found the original easement in the tower's dead files, a steel box welded under the floorboards, yellowed but legal, notarized by a judge dead since 1982. Sparks grinned. We've got a smoking gun, now we need a megaphone. The Stream Day, 5 sunset. Sparks rigged a GoPro to the Osborne Firefinder. Ellie went live on TikTok, YouTube, and X from the tower's satellite uplink, courtesy of a stolen Park Service dish. Title, Fire Tower Widow Versus. The State. Live from exile. Viewers exploded. Fire Tower Widow trended. Clips of Ellie in her flannel, hair wild, pointing at maps. They took my home for a parking lot. I'm 70. I've spotted smoke from here since before your parents were born. This forest is mine. Donations poured in. A law firm in Albany offered pro bono. A drone company sent a thermal imager. Someone mailed a pizza delivered by floatplane. The Reckoning Day, 10 Albany. The hearing was held in the old Capitol courtroom, wood-paneled, smelling of lemon oil. Benny in dress greens, face pale. His lawyer, a slick Syracuse type, argued mental incapacity. Ellie's stroke, her delusions. Ellie took the stand. No cane, hair braided tight, brought the easement, logbook, and a flash drive of the live stream. Objection. Syracuse yelled, irrelevant. The judge, a woman with a buzz cut and zero patience, overruled. Let the widow speak. Ellie's voice didn't shake. My husband died saving this forest. My son sold it while I was drugged. I may be old, but I'm not done. And neither is this land. She played the clip of Benny's helicopter drop. The courtroom gasped. Mickey testified about the forgery. Tala brought photos of the white pine, trees older than the Constitution. The judge ruled in 20 minutes. Fraud. Easement upheld. Land returned. Benny suspended without pay. Facing criminal charges. The return, day 11, Pike's Notch. The convoy rolled in at dawn. Ellie and Mickey's pickup, Rusty on her lap, the cabin, her cabin, stood untouched. Benny had never moved in. They planted a sign at the gate. Pike's Notch Preserve. No trespassing. Violators will be composted. The tower became headquarters. Sparks installed Starlink. The twins built bunkhouses. Reverend June held Sunday services on the catwalk. Doc Patel set up a clinic in the old woodshed. Ellie's first act. Hired Tala's crew to thin the underbrush, creating fire breaks, sustainable forestry, jobs for locals. The white pine stayed standing. The storm, November 1st, Category 3 nor'easter. The storm hit like God's wrath. Winds 110 miles per hour, rain horizontal. Benny's half-built visitor center on state land washed into the Hudson. Ellie was in the tower. Lightning cracked, she spotted a flare south. Campers trapped on Avalanche Pass. Radioed coordinates to the Coast Guard. Guided a Black Hawk through the gale. Saved 12 lives. The pilot saluted from the cockpit. "Ma'am, you're a legend." The Crown. Thanksgiving. The Preserve's first Thanksgiving feast was held in the tower cab. 30 people crammed in. Jumpers, ironworkers, kids from the local high school who'd built trails for Eagle Scout. Turkey smoked over applewood, pie from wild blueberries, Mickey carved, to Ellie Pike, the fire tower widow who burned down the system and built something better. They crowned her with a wreath of pine boughs. She laughed until she cried. Later alone on the catwalk, she watched the Milky Way spill across the sky. Jack's voice in the wind. "You did good, Elle." She keyed the mic one last time. K2EP clear, standing by. Epilogue, 2 years later. The Preserve thrives. School buses bring kids to learn fire ecology. Ellie teaches Morse code to teenagers who think Wi-Fi grows on trees. Benny's in prison. Fraud, forgery, elder abuse. His wife sent a letter. Ellie burned it unread. Every dawn she climbs the tower, eyes sharp, voice steady. The forest breathes around her. She is 72. She is home. She is unbreakable.